Greetings, Green Thumb Gardening family. Allah and back at you from right here at the Green Thumb Gardening channel. We're here in our high tunnel greenhouse with an update on exactly what it is that we currently have growing on in our 20-foot by 10-foot by 7-foot high tunnel greenhouse. As you guys and gals currently watching this video may recall, during our last video update on our greenhouse that we titled Greenhouse Confessions, we told you guys again that we lost about 40% of our stock during that Arctic cold front that passed through our area right around Christmas last year, and we did. We also told you guys and gals at that time that we spending the next 30 to 45 to 60 to 90 days propagating new plants, restocking our nursery, and replenishing our stock so that we actually have something to sell in our nursery in the spring. And we've been doing just that. We've been away for a while. We haven't uploaded any videos since that time. I'm going to give you guys a look at exactly what it is that we currently have growing on in our greenhouse, and exactly just how different the inside of our greenhouse looks at this point versus what it looked like in our last video update titled Greenhouse Confessions. Take a look at this, guys. Bam! As you guys can see, we were not joking with you guys when we told you guys that we would spend the next 30 to 45 to 60 to 90 days propagating new plants, planting seeds, taking cuttings, propagating cuttings, and spending every available moment of our time replenishing the stock that we lost during that Arctic cold front. We've been doing just that. You guys can see we have our greenhouse loaded at this point with a few plants that we actually saved and didn't get affected by that cold front, but mostly with plants that we've been in the process of propagating here since our last video update. On this back table back here we have several of our gigantic, you guys see how large our Christmas cactuses have gotten? These things are gigantic back here. We have some of these guys hanging in pots. We have some of them hanging in these pots here on our table here back at the rear of our high tunnel greenhouse here. We've also been in the process of propagating peace lilies. Peace lilies are a very popular item here in my area, so we've been in the process of propagating as many peace lilies as we possibly can. We did manage to get all of our fig trees inside of our high tunnel greenhouse. They were outside during that Arctic cold front that passed through. However, Green Thumb Gardening family, and this is something that I should be saying on South Georgia figs, our fig trees are indeed coming out of dormancy. And not only that, our fig trees are loading up with figs. Can you guys see those figs? If my camera will focus. You guys see that? These fig trees are not only coming out of dormancy. See those buds popping open? See that huge fig right beside that bud? These fig trees are not playing at all, as they never do here in our high tunnel greenhouse. Here on our propagation table here in the middle, we have our rain lilies. We've been growing these from buds that we took from our previous grow location over at 1110 South Park Avenue in Tifton, Georgia. We dug these up from beside our house, and we planted these bulbs here roughly about a month ago. They weren't affected that much by the Arctic cold front that passed through. I'm not sure what it is about lilies, but most lilies in our area stay green even when the weather's like extremely cold. They still stay green or whatever, and they still blossom out at their regular intervals. On this side we have our beach spider lilies. We have about 15 of those things over there in this container. We also grew these at the entrance to our previous location of the driveway. So we took the liberty of digging those bulbs up and planting those here in this container. We have mums. We had one or two surviving mums that didn't die during that Arctic cold front last year, and we took the liberty of splitting these things up into as many separate plants as we possibly could, and they're doing fantastic here. Here in this center we have two red spider lily plants that we planted. We're growing from bulbs, and we also have these planted at our previous location over at 1110. We have one more rain lily there in that center. Next up we have about 8 strawberry plants here that we're currently growing, and they're looking good. One of our plants is actually got a blossom on it, although we know that that thing won't produce a strawberry because we don't have any pollinators inside of our greenhouse. We do open up our greenhouse on warmer days, but those days are kind of scarce here right at this point of the time of the year here in our area. So for the most part, there are no pollinators in our greenhouse, so we know that our strawberry plants at this point of the year would not produce strawberry. They'll produce blossom, but they won't get pollinated, and we won't get any strawberries until things warm up around here. Next up, we have our alligator plants here. We have about 6 of those that we were able to save from that Arctic cold front. We lost all of our aloe, so we had to go out and buy a huge aloe plant that had about a gazillion babies growing around it. And we broke it down, and this is the result of that one aloe plant that we bought, in which we separated into about a gazillion separate aloe plants here. And they're all looking fantastic. Next up in this cup over here, we actually have some rosemary that we've been propagating from cuttings, and I'm going to pull one out if I can and show you guys that rosemary, man, this stuff propagates so easily in water. You just simply take a cutting, put it in a shallow cup of water, sit it somewhere in a semi-shady area like this greenhouse, give it about 7 days, and bam, you got a brand new rosemary plant. These things are ready to plant right now. We're going to give them about another week and a half, as we're not in any real rush to get those things planted. Here we have several cuttings from our mahogany splendor hibiscus plant that's over here by the entrance of our high tunnel greenhouse. This thing was almost 6 feet tall when we took these cuttings from it, and it was just really gangly and wasn't filled out in the middle at all. As you guys can see, once we took these cuttings, all of that new growth along the stems beginning to take off and grow, and our mahogany splendor hibiscus plant is beginning to fill out there in the middle, as opposed to being so gangly. It'll form a more bushy plant that'll be more full, and it would produce far more blossoms than it would have if we had just allowed it to continue to grow in a gangly fashion. Next up, and we shouldn't be showing this on this channel either, but we're going to go ahead and show you guys Green Thumb Gardening Family. Over on our other channel, South Georgia Figs, here about 2 weeks ago, we took several cuttings from the fig trees that you see here in our high tunnel greenhouse. We have several varieties here from front to back. We took several cuttings from those fig trees. You guys that already know what we do when it comes to cuttings. We use the minimum amount of water possible. It's been about roughly 16 days now, I think, and bam, can you see all of those buds opening up on all of these fig tree cuttings that we have here. And I'm not sure if you guys can see those little white bumps down in it, but we have those little classic white bumps that form along the stems that eventually grow into roots. We have that same scenario going on with all of our fig tree cuttings here. And again, we have I think about 7 or 8 different varieties of fig tree cuttings here, and a total of about 30 fig tree cuttings. Next up, we have our container here where we're going to be growing several different varieties of peppers. We have a 12 compartment tray here. We have a 6 compartment tray here. We got another 6 compartment tray over there, and some 4-inch containers here. And we're going to be growing starting mostly things like peppers here this time of the year. We're going to get a bunch of pepper plants going. We're going to be growing some coleus. We're going to get some tomato plants started, and a few other things here. But for the most part, we're going to be mostly growing things like peppers, a little thyme. We're going to get a little cilantro going. But for the most part, peppers and tomatoes here in these containers, and we'll get these things going here within the next 2 to 3 days. And those hanging pots we have to see on the other side over there, those are some of our Christmas cactuses, and again, those things have gotten gigantic for us. We're able to save these things from the cold, and they have grown gigantic since we potted them into larger containers. And we're super excited to see how large these things grow here during the upcoming spring and summer months here. They'll be way monstrous by fall, around the time when Christmas cactuses begin to blossom. Here on this middle table, we have a couple more peace lilies that we're in the process of propagating. We have our beach ferns. We showed you these guys these beach ferns in a video last year from our previous location. Most of our beach ferns died. We were able to save about 5 or 6 of them. We got them in large containers. They're doing pretty good. We have a few more inside of our house, and we have a couple more, some over here in this corner over here that aren't doing so well right now. But the moment they begin to really grow out, we'll get those in large containers and over here on our grow tables as well. Next up, we have our one ice cream banana plant here. We acquired this from one of our previous subscribers to our channel here last year. We've been growing this thing in this container for about 3, maybe 4 months now in this container. We were able to save this from that cold front that passed through because we had this inside of our house when that cold front passed through prior to us getting our greenhouse set up. It's looking fantastic, and we just wait for this thing to really start popping out new leaves and pups down there around that base so we can add these ice cream banana plants to our inventory for our nursery in the spring. We have one more pothos plant here. Down here we have our moringa trees. They all got hit by that cold front that passed through. They all went into dormancy. They look like they're dead over here in this corner, but believe you me, they will pop back up the moment things warm up around here. And last but not least, we have our one ever-bearing raspberry plant that we were able to dig up and bring to our new location from our old location over there. It's looking pretty good at this point, and it's beginning to put on some new growth, as you guys can see here, and we're super excited about that. We're ready to get this thing planted outside, but we think we're going to have maybe one more cold front to pass through our area before things begin to warm up around here. So we're going to wait about another 2.5 weeks before we plant this guy outside. At any rate, Green Thumb Gardening family, at any rate, thanks for watching this video. And if indeed you do currently find yourself watching this video on exactly what it is that we currently have growing on in our high tonal greenhouse, and you're not already subscribed to the Green Thumb Gardening channel, please take a moment to press that subscribe button beneath this video, that like button, that notification button, and be sure, Green Thumb Gardening family, be sure to share this video with your friends and family as well. Yeah, what's growing on in our high tonal greenhouse? Thanks for watching.